Ever get that feeling, when you connect with someone over something you both love? It's like, boom, you just unlock a whole new level of friendship.
It's instant kinship.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the vibe we're diving into today. We're checking out this YouTube video, right? And it's these two friends just geeking out hardcore about the author Terry Pratchett.
And it's infectious.
Oh, totally. You don't even have to be a fan, honestly. It's more about that universal feeling of fandom.
Absolutely. That shared language, the inside jokes, the thrill of discovery, it's all there.
Right, like we're talking contagious enthusiasm, surprise gifts, even this bookstore that sounds like a magical haven for book lovers.
What I find fascinating is how this video just bottles that pure joy of fandom.
Yeah,
It's palpable.
sure.
Eric and the host, they're not just discussing books, they're reliving those feelings of discovering this whole world.
It's like when Eric stumbles on that first edition Pratchett, you can practically hear the grin in his voice. It's more than just a book at that point.
Oh, absolutely. It's a tangible connection to this world that he loves. And
Yeah.
you've probably felt that yourself, that urge to own a piece of something that resonates with you, right?
Sure.
It's like in fandom, that's amplified
Mhm.
because it represents that connection to something bigger than ourselves.
It makes me think about Eric's comment about wanting to collect every single edition of Pratchett's work. I mean, that's dedication. Is it about owning a piece of that world, or is it the thrill of the hunt itself? You know what I mean?
I think there's definitely an element of completionism there
Mm.
that drives to fully immerse oneself in the things we love.
Hmm.
But it also, it speaks to the idea of fandom as a journey, right? With each new find, each rare edition, it's at a milestone.
And it's like, speaking of journeys, right? This video isn't just about their own little solo experiences with Pratchett. It's about how they share that passion with each other.
Right.
Like when Eric just casually tosses out, hey, want my duplicate copies? Like, no big deal. Pure, this is amazing. You got to read this. Energy.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how generosity flourishes in these little spaces where passion is shared.
Totally.
It's like they're saying, here's a piece of something I love, and I want you to have it too.
Yeah.
It's less about like ownership and more about spreading that joy.
Yeah. And it reminds me of that feeling when you finish a book or even just see a trailer for a movie and you're just like, oh man, I know exactly who I need to tell about this.
Yes.
Because you just know they'll love it.
Yeah. It's about building those connections through shared experiences.
Sure.
And honestly, those connections, they're solidified even more, I think, through those little in-jokes and references. Like that hilarious bit about Eric being flown somewhere
Oh my gosh, yes.
when that, spoiler alert, never happened in the books.
I was cracking up. It's like you can just tell they've spent hours, days even, just dissecting every little detail of these books together. It's next level friendship stuff.
Absolutely. It's that level you only get from a real deep dive into a shared world.
Yeah.
And it really highlights how humor, right, especially when it comes from a place of shared knowledge, can be this incredibly powerful bonding tool.
Totally.
They're practically speaking their own language at that point,
Yeah.
One built on these little inside jokes and this deep, deep understanding of this fictional universe. It's great.
And this enthusiasm, right? It even spills over into their shared love for this really specific bookstore, Gigamish.
Yeah.
Eric even complains about always spending too much there, but you can tell it comes from a place of like deep affection.
Oh, totally. It sounds like their version of a fandom haven, Like in a world where it feels like everything's online shopping and digital communities, it's so heartwarming to see that these physical spaces, these places you can go, are still so powerful.
For sure.
They offer this sense of belonging, a place where you can connect with people who just get it. And hey, maybe even stumble upon your next literary obsession while you're there.
It's easy to get lost in all that, right? The excitement of finding those rare editions, the inside jokes, all that good stuff. But what really sticks with me is the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes way beyond just, loving Terry Pratchett.
Right.
This is about finding your people.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who get those obscure references, the ones who share your passions, no matter like how niche they might be.
Totally. I mean, we all crave that, right? That feeling of belonging, finding your tribe, whether it's like fantasy novels or collecting vintage stamps, whatever. It's those connections that make the whole experience so much richer.
100%.
Yeah.
It really is like discovering this hidden language,
Uh-huh.
and that shared passion just becomes the springboard for these deeper conversations,
Yeah.
for genuine connection.
Yeah.
It's no wonder Eric and the host in this video, they have just an easy rapport.
Yeah,
they've tapped into something special.
for sure. Makes you kind of stop and think, what's that thing for you? That
Yeah,
passion you'd love to geek out over with someone who totally gets it.
it's a good question.
Right. And hey, maybe this whole deep dive, maybe it's a sign, right? Maybe it's your sign to finally explore the world of Terry Pratchett. Even if fantasy, like, isn't really your thing, who knows? You might be surprised.
You never know.
But no matter what, I hope this inspires everyone listening to, just embrace those things that really light you up. Find your people, find your gigamesh. And of course, happy reading.